Let's try that one more time. I guess you got to have your mic on. Good way to start the morning. All right. The Epstein files are about to be released today. The Tate brothers are on their way to the U.S. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but if you're not, you will be soon. And then Gene Hackman and his wife were found, they had passed away in their home, and along with their dog. So a lot of breaking news right there. It's a sad story there, but we're going to dive into it. And also I wanted to talk about just because I know everybody is familiar with Gene Hackman. He had a legendary career. So we'll just start it there. Again, my name is Brandon Fogel. This is Evolution. I left the mic off, so I had to kind of repeat myself a little bit this morning. So, hey, everybody starts off. Sometimes you can start off to a rocky start, but it's all how you react in whatever moment you're in. That's how I see it. All right, we're gonna dive in first of all to Gene Hackman story, which was it was shocking to me. I had not followed him lately. He's been out of the movies for a while, but so he's been a little bit off the scene. But I'll switch screens so you all can see. All right. So when you all think of Gene Hackman, what immediately goes to your mind? What movie goes to your mind more than likely? For me, it's I go to Enemy of the State. I know that was a Will Smith movie, but that is the movie that my mind immediately jumps to with Gene Hackman. He was born in 1930, and so he passed away at 95 years old. So he's been in the movies for a long time. So he had a lot of stuff that he had a hand in and he helped out with, which was just great. But I immediately go to Enemy of the State, and they got something that you want. They got something on you. They're coming after you, or no, it's you got something they want. Him saying that's the line in Enemy of the State that Gene Hackman, when he says to Will Smith, that I always go to, and I immediately think of. But I remember him in Superman. Was it Lex Luthor in the original with Christopher Reeves? He had years. Early movies. So he had a great, amazing career. But him and his wife were found passed away in their home along with their dog. There's an investigation happening, but so more stuff's going to come out because it does seem kind of odd that what happened. It could have been carbon monoxide. They were all found dead. They're looking into it right now, but either way, the man had a stellar, amazing career, and there's so many things that we can remember. I'm sure if you say Gene Hackman, you could say it to 5 different people, and people would think of 5 different movies, or 10 different people, 10 different movies. And what do you immediately go to? What do you think of? Like I said, mine is Enemy of the State. That is the one that I immediately jump to. That he was not like the main role, but he could have been the main role. It was just a perfect combination. Him and Will Smith in that movie, they did an awesome job together. And just the dynamic that they had between one another was just amazing. But you have something that they want. Yeah, that's what it is. You have something that they want, and he's. I'm gonna get on my acting going, and how because I got to be able to do it as well. I want to have that Gene Hackman-esque, that ability to say a line like he could, on the spot, So I don't think nobody's gonna come around and just deliver like he did. He was absolutely amazing in his life. So we were very blessed to have him, and share our lives with him and be able to see him on the scene all those years and all those amazing things that he did. But what do you go to? What's your movie that you go to when you think of Gene Hackman? On other news, if you're familiar with the Tate brothers, if they are on their way right now, reports are saying, to the U.S. So Andrew Tate, if you're not familiar with him, he is a man's man. He is a man's man. And if you say Andrew Tate, he is definitely, like Donald Trump, a polarizing person, and he garners the airwaves by his, you could say, macho. He's very a macho man. He's not Macho Man Randy Savage. He's not that level, but he is a man's man, and and you could say that he kind of demeans women sometimes, and like he's a womanizer, all that. He was put in jail, and the charge, like, the more I looked into it, he was like taken captive and into Romanian jail. Just like that legal system over there is whack, absolutely whack. And whatever happened, it was so weird because he said something about Greta Thunberg or whatever her name is, Greta something, that one girl that is always about environmentalism. He said something about her, and then she tweeted something, and then he immediately was back in jail, and it was just a weird situation. None of the charges, like, he was in prison over in Romania, and it just seemed so, like, it did not align with what the facts were. Like, because I saw so many interviews of him being in jail and his side of the story, what's happening, and just the charges that they were bringing against him is just so weird. They're just so weird that he was kind of seducing girls by and taking advantage of them by allowing them to like promote their stuff, on, and basically he was just. He was not womanizing. He was just like, he was helping girls and like using like what they have, and to promote like his megaphone, and his ability to kind of reach people, it was not, none of it sounded legit at all, ever. And, of course, everybody's got skeletons. Everybody's got things that they've done that they're not proud of. But the thing that he was charged with and what he was being held for in Romania just absolutely made no sense whatsoever. But then steps in Donald Trump and the new administration, and immediately he's let go. He's allowed to leave Romania. So there's pressure coming from the U.S., and now Andrew Tate is coming to the United States, which is, I mean, are there things in the air that he could actually be a part of the Trump administration in some capacity? I wouldn't put it past Donald Trump. I mean, Elon, he's not officially like in the elected office member or anything like that, but he's definitely having a hand and influence in the way we are going as a country and making major policy decisions and what's happening and affecting our lives. Andrew Tate, he is nuclear, definitely nuclear, and like that. Some people, you don't want to touch him because he can have a bad rap, but like I think overall his, like, what he does is, I think it pushes at least it makes us think about his side. He's fully like invested in his position and the way that people see him. He's fully invested in that. He makes it clear that he doesn't. The one thing about him is amazing. He doesn't back down from himself. Like, he puts it full throttle in what he believes and what he stands for. He's completely bought in, and he doesn't give an inch. I've heard him say, like, about depression, he's like, I won't allow myself to be depressed. He is all about just being a man's man. Sometimes you could say, like, you could disagree how he treats girls, but the girls that are in his life that have that he influences and he puts out there and he shows their lives, he gives them a leg up, he helps them, whatever. You could say he's using them in a way, but they're willingly wanting to be a part of that because they want to be a part of that lifestyle. And I think, I don't think he's doing anything crazy wrong in what he's doing there. He has the freedom to do that. If he doesn't, people are going to disagree with it or not. I just like Andrew Tate because he's a man's man. He's all about, men taking charge, having courage, not backing down, being just full. The world, this is who I am. Not setting back, not letting like just everybody else influence who you are, but just being real and authentic to the core. That's why it can kind of rub people the wrong way, because he sometimes seems like he pushes it too far. He goes a little bit too far in the way that he does things. And that can be disagreeable to some, and people don't have a taste for that. But what do you all think? Are you all in line with Andrew Tate? I mean, I'd say about 50% of the country knows who he is. A lot of people aren't following Andrew Tate. He's not in the US, but he has worldwide influence. He's huge. He's absolutely huge. I stand on the side. I like him. The only thing I disagree really with him is he turned to Islam. He became Muslim, and that's but his brother is a Christian, and Andrew Tate, he grew up the UK, and he became Muslim, and I've heard different stories of him turning to Islam and why he did that, and it hurts me a little bit, like why he went that way as opposed to staying strong with his Christian faith. Because Christianity, it does require some demands on your life. It requires some different morality than even Islam has. Islam has its own thing, it's somewhat kind of like Christianity in some ways, but I think there's a little bit more freedom to keep his brand of Tate and be full out Tate, and go the Islam way, Muslim, But like, as opposed to like, if he was a Christian, could he do the same thing he does and have that same brand and that same influence the way that people see him and be a Christian? I mean, it's I don't know. That would be his, it's when you're a Christian, it's your freedom of conscience between you and God. You have your personal conscience and how you conduct yourself and what you do, so there would be maybe some things that he might have to not be full gas to the ground, pedal to the metal kind of thing, and kind of dial it back a little bit. Maybe that might happen, and maybe that influenced him. But what I heard was why he became Muslim was when he was in prison, and I think they're fallacious, phony, ridiculous charges that were brought against Andrew Tate. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So, and the more I even looked into it and watched and all this stuff and heard all sides of the story, it was absolute stupidity. That was a miscarriage of justice that they had him in prison. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So, but why he became Muslim is because when he was in prison, the people that were reaching out to him and encouraging him and being behind him and standing with him were Muslims. And that was what I heard, that why he became that. And it wasn't the Christian brothers that were there standing firm for him and supporting him and all that. And it's like, maybe he wasn't taking into account his own brother. I don't know. But his own brother is Christian, and he has been there along with him. But like, I've just heard it was the ones that were reaching out to him the most were Muslims and that were supporting him. And that's why I'd say, man, we gotta watch each other's backs. Christians, we gotta watch each other's backs. We do not need to just slander people and just like, they're doing something I disagree with, so I'm gonna just throw them along on the wayside and not even care about them because they're doing something that I deem as unethical. They're doing something that I deem is wrong in my own view, as opposed to that's their conscience between them and God, I say the more that you come closer to Christ, you're going to be influenced by Christ and you're going to become more like Christ. So we don't need to be like throwing like, paint on someone and saying, and marking them, I can't have anything to do with them because they're doing something that I deem is not Christian worthy. And I would say that's what I would say about that, In other news, we're going to skip to the Epstein files. If you've been following this, The Epstein files are about to be released. They are going to be dropping today. If you're familiar with Epstein, there's a lot of stuff going to shake out, and you could say this could have been the reason that so many people did not want Donald Trump in the office, in the presidency. That he rose to this power again is just mind-boggling, that Donald Trump has this power again. And it seems like it would have been an impossible thing that could ever have happened, but it did, and that's what it's so crazy. He was written off. Donald Trump was written off, and everybody thought that was game over for him. We have moved on, and you could say all the Democrats, all the liberals thought it, because they just threw everything at him. They gave him a lot of fuel for his fire, and one of them is he has the opportunity now to no longer allow the government to hide the Epstein files, the Epstein flight logs, everything that happened with Epstein. It's gonna come out now. It's going to come out, and now the question is stuff going to be redacted today once it's released? Are they going to be redacted? Are people not going to see everything? Are they going to hide something? Man, I sure hope not. When things go into national security and top secret clearance and all that, there's that element that they have to take into in their judgment and what they do, but. It's coming out, and it's set to start releasing today. So everybody's on pins and needles, just waiting for this to drop. But I mean, there are big names out there. They're going to be dropping, and that's why I don't even want to say any of their names, because you all already know all their names, and everybody had a photo with Epstein. Everybody had a photo with him. So and then that's why some people would pin, because Donald Trump, he had some photos with Epstein. I mean, this guy wasn't, just a guy that was not out of the scene. He was front and center in a lot of people's lives. He was intertwined deeply in everybody's life. And now what is going to matter is who went to Epstein Island, and then the more investigation with that and all that went into that. I think a lot of people are concerned, rightly so in some ways, but I think I'm on the edge of my seat. Are you on the edge of your seat of what's gonna finally drop today? We're gonna find out. It's all gonna come out. So get ready for that, and we'll end it at that. I'll leave you in suspense. All right, peace all. I'm in a